Hey guys, it's Pineapple. I haven't uploaded a YouTube video here in a couple days because I'm finishing up the stream room. Potty training is a lot of fun, and I got a couple opportunities with work that have been bogging me down. So I wanted to get this video out, kind of my experience with Souls games and answering a couple questions that I've gotten in a couple previous YouTube videos. Because the stream room is now complete, I have a location that I can now record videos a lot quicker and on the fly, to get them out more. And so what I'm going to try to do is get some videos pre-made so that I can start bringing again one video a day, longer form. If you guys have a topic you'd like me to cover in one of the videos, I can. I'll try to be informative about Souls games, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not the most knowledgeable. I know how to beat them. I know how to have fun at them. That's kind of what I want to bring to you guys. I don't think anyone's following me because of how smart I am or good looking. It's mostly because I forced you to. So the first question I got on one of my previous videos, and I'll try to tag the commenter below because I forgot to go grab it. But they asked me to make a video about how to play Dark Souls games and how to start them off. And I'm going to do that. I'm trying to do that. The only problem right now is that the only extended footage I can get that's more than a minute long is on my stream, and I'm not going to do that while live because that would be embarrassing to try to record a YouTube video live. But I am trying to put that together. I'm starting a new game plus right now in a character, and a couple of my followers have redeemed make a new character, so I might have some footage. But I want to make sure I cover it in a way that appeals to people who don't have the time to go grind out a whole bunch of levels or learn different builds and whatnot. It should be pretty simple. I think I can make the most sense towards working dads who just try to game to disassociate and relax, and not someone who's trying to be the greatest Elden Ring player in the world. With that said, in today's video, I really wanted to cover my experience with Souls games because this last week I've ran into several creators on TikTok and YouTube who continue to push these ideas that players have to play the way they want them to play. And I'm trying to word this the right way so I'm not telling you how to play. So instead, I'm going to share my experience with the Souls games and why this is one of the greatest franchises to me. Back in 2011, I was a sophomore in college at the University of Nebraska. I was really bored waiting for Skyrim to come out, and I needed a new game to play because Black Ops was not doing it for me. And I heard about this game called Dark Souls that came out, and I drove down to GameStop, and I'm quite certain that the game was $9.99 on release. And please don't look that up and prove me wrong, but I swear to God, this game was already discounted, and like a bunch of people just didn't give it the time of day. So I took it back to my dorm, and I started playing it. When I tell you that I didn't know that there was a tutorial in this game, and that I thought the first boss was like the first boss, I was so disheartened and angry that I spent a few hours trying to kill that first boss. That was ridiculous. I then started venturing out, and I enjoyed the adventure of the game because it was sort of an A-B type of a game where you go from point A to point B, and there's some enemies in the way. But because of how difficult some of those enemies were and how hard it was to find some of the paths, it didn't only feel like an A-B type of an adventure. It felt like you were actually going out on an adventure, trying to remember where things were and whatnot. And that was really appealing to me because it was so simple yet so deep and complicated, and that's kind of how I've always felt about these games. Pushing forward in Dark Souls, I remember the first bridge where the dragon killed me and how really disheartened I was at that point. And at that time in the game, I was like, I'm having a hard time beating like the zombies. This is going to be rough. And I read online that you could kill the dragon by getting on the platform underneath him and shooting his tail. I purchased 500 some arrows that took me a while to farm the souls to get them. And then I sat there for 45 minutes missing and missing and missing all of my shots on that stupid dragon's tail. And I finally broke it and got the Great Drake sword, or whatever the sword was called. And I remember how cool that felt. I've got a later game item at the beginning. I can now kill the zombies that I should have been killing already. And I continued to push forward. I got to the church and I rang the first bell. And my understanding up until that point was that was the halfway point. And when I found out I was wrong and that there was a second bell and that gargoyle came out, I quit. I quit my playthrough right there. And I didn't touch the game because Skyrim came out. And I played Skyrim. I put 1,500 some hours into it. And life went on. Looking back, my inability to read the item descriptions and learn the mechanics of the game is really why I didn't enjoy the game. I enjoyed the game. I did not enjoy the boss fights because I wasn't good at them. And they beat me down, and I didn't have the time being in college, trying to play Halo, and dating to get good at this game. And that was what all the comments online told me to do. Get good. And so I quit. I stopped playing Dark Souls at that point. And then a few years later, Dark Souls 2 came out, and I forget what was out at that time too. But again, I was bored, and I downloaded it, and I said, I'm gonna play this one, and I'm gonna get good, and I'm gonna have fun. And I spent the entirety of Dark Souls 2 learning how to explore areas and getting somewhat into the lore, although I was still confused by it. And what I later found out through 3 is that Dark Souls 1 and 3 are a continuation, but Dark Souls 2 is a different environment within the same kind of story. It got really confusing, which again is why I didn't like playing it. But I spent Dark Souls 2 summoning in people to help me for every boss fight, every boss fight. I didn't do a single one. I might not have even hit anybody. I might have been the first hitless run in the history of hitless runs because I didn't do anything. I hid in the back. I waited for my team to get the boss down, and that's how I progressed it. And I remember when I first beat it, how cool that felt. And I had friends around me saying, "Nah, you suck. That's not how you win. It wasn't a legitimate win." And that made me feel really bad because I'm like, but I did beat it. It's a mechanic in the game. If From Software didn't want you to do it, they wouldn't have summons. But then what clicked with me and why I love this game so much is the endless possibilities for builds. And I know a lot of people want to discuss overpowered builds, the Sword of Night and Flame, the Frost Stomp. But when I watch videos, there's sometimes the same build that's overpowered, but it seems like right now in Elden Ring on March 24th, 2022 at 10:56 a.m. Central Standard Time in Nebraska, there's Deathblight that's going around, there's Madness that's going around, whereas whatever the hell that invisibility one is, that's a trip. There seems like there's a lot of different builds that you can do that are overpowered because the people that they're playing aren't aware of those builds or because they don't have a good build themselves. And I think that's where this game gets really cool. If there's 4 or 5 really good builds, that doesn't mean that there's only one overpowered. That means that there's a couple builds that you can go into, but it also means, because this is changing by the week, that there's other things you can do in this game to be good and explore, and that gets me excited. And in Dark Souls 2, I found out about weapon scaling because someone took the time to explain to me how my leveling worked. And so then I became a pure strength build. I put 99 points into strength. I grabbed the giant club that had an S tier scaling, and I ran around naked with all those stats chunking at bosses. And that was the first time that I was able to beat a boss on my own, which was a great feeling. And everybody who told me to get good was correct. But instead of encouraging me and helping me, it was just get good. And whoever that player was, I thank you, because then I started grinding the game. And I remember, I believe it was called the Madness set. There was in the fire area, there was a bonfire that you could go to that there was an enemy that had I believe it was a 1 in 40 chance of spawning, and then a 1 in 40 chance of dropping an item. And I spent 16 hours resting and fighting and resting and dying, resting and fighting to get the armor set. And then that was when it again clicked with me how much you can grind in this game and level it up to continue to go and get more items. So after completing that, Dark Souls 3 came out, and I said, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to beat it myself. My first playthrough, again, I summoned in people because I didn't know how to play it, but I really started to get into it, and I started finding more creators on YouTube, especially the Ashen Hollow, who's my favorite lore channel. And while I was playing the game, I would listen to the lore videos. And then I realized how deep this game was, even though it was so simple. And Dark Souls 3 was the first one that I had multiple playthroughs of. I was trying to learn how to speed run it. I was trying to learn how to do different builds. I was doing PvP. I put hours into Dark Souls 3. And so when Elden Ring came out, I was really excited to take all those things and come into this community and continue to do what I loved about the game. And then partnering that with my experience from Halo of all the gatekeepers about how you need to play the game and how there's only one way to play it. You know, you have to have a BR start. You only can use the sniper and the rockets. I watched that community die. I played it at the end of Halo 2. I played Halo 3. I started playing competitive in Halo Reach, and I watched that game go from having, I think the screenshot's 1 million people online in Halo 3 to 10,000 people in Halo Reach, and it's sad. And I think part of it is because there are so many people online who are looking for what made games good for them when they were a kid, that they're going to force other people to play it that way. And some people just don't want to do that. And so I'm coming into the Elden Ring community going, hey, you guys have this game. I think Dark Souls 3 did really well. But this, from the recording of this video, Elden Ring has already surpassed in the month that it's been out the total sales of previous Dark Souls games. So this community has an opportunity here where they have a lot of new players in here that could help boost this game so that the next one or the DLCs or the lifespan of this game continues. And they're taking that opportunity to just tell them that their accomplishments are worthless. Instead of telling them, hey, keep pushing forward, or hey, if you want to have a summons, summon me in. Let the people play the game the way they want it. Your way is not the only way. And there was also a TikTok from somebody that I saw where he said that he didn't want the game to end because there hasn't been a game this good and for so long. And I think for myself, how that resonated with me is that my video games for me is an escape. It's a way to disassociate and go to another world. And when you have bugs and issues and exploits, sometimes that gets ruined. And when you have games that require skill, that you're playing against other people, it can get really daunting that you're not as good as them. And then you go from the stresses in life to the stresses of the game, and you're just stressed all the time. Whereas in Elden Ring, I can go get over leveled and come back and just whop on some low level boss and feel really good about it. Or I can summon people in and push the story forward and beat a boss that's really hard. Summon someone in and kill Radahn. And that's all my thoughts. That we've got a really unique situation here where a game this good that has a good core community is having its time in the light, where it's the most popular game right now. It's got a lot of copies being sold, so much content being made about it that we can redefine how the community operates here and have fun with this and get more people engaged in it so that more games like this come out and we can communicate to the gaming industry, you need to invest in the development of your game and stop pushing out games just to push games out. And we can all take a step back and enjoy a game for all the different aspects that it brings to the table. There are so many different builds, so many different ways to play this game, and I'm really excited for the amount of new players that we have and all the content that can come out from this game, because we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg for this. And if somehow you've made it to almost the 15-minute mark, I thank you. I've gotten a couple comments from people saying that they found me off of YouTube which I never thought I would ever hear. I believe we're at 60 subscribers here. So thank you, especially with the people who come over and tell me that I'm stealing content from Iron Pineapple. I'm not trying to be Iron Pineapple. I've never even watched. I watched a couple of his videos because I've been accused of that. But I thank you if you really did enjoy these videos. I'm going to try to put out more content now that the stream room is complete, and leave a like and a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. If you want to hear something else, let me know. But if not, I'll see you in the next video.